fight fans, and welcome to the Combat Challenge podcast. My guest today is Tom Corrigill, who is an MMA athlete and competes in the middleweight division. His next fight is this Sunday on Olympus Fighting Championships against Liam Cook. Tom, thank you so much for joining us, my brother.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
No, man, it's great. Now, listen, right, before we even started, right, we had to rearrange the furniture. We had to take mirrors down off the walls to get everything right. Yeah?
You're not too popular with the missus already, but if you're there Sunday, I'll send her in your direction, you know.
Then, how old is that dog? Because there was a dog running around on the sofa, wasn't it?
He's 9-month-old, so he's still a puppy, but he's been banished upstairs, or else I think he'd get more likes than I would, really. But yeah, he's upstairs till we finish.
Well, listen, Tom, you're fighting this Sunday, and thank you so much for taking the time out so close to your fight, because obviously, you're at the peak of your challenge, in the sense of you're getting ready and you're just getting there, just about to kind of plateau out and then ready to compete. So thank you for taking the time out, my friend.
No problem.
I really appreciate it.
No problem at all, bud.
Brother Tom, before we get into your fight with Liam Cook, man, I've never spoken to you like this on a podcast. So I'm intrigued, like, what was your MMA journey from a young age? What sort of sport did you get into that's ended up where you are now?
It's a bit of a funny story. I was the cliche. I was a sporty kid. I was actually meant to do Aikido a lot when I was a kid, because my mum's best pal he's like the Hickson Gracie of Aikido in Europe even now. He lives in France. And I was made to do that.
He's not called Steven Seagal, is he, brother?
He's actually called Steve Magson, yeah, but I think he's actually pally with Steven Seagal. But anyway, I was made to do that, and I think we're all well aware that it's a bit of a bogus martial art, and I clocked onto that quite early when I was asked to come at him. I was about 11-year-old, and I just absolutely hoyed a straight right hand into his face, and I was never allowed back. So I did myself a favour, really, let's be honest.
And where did you go after that then, my friend?
Well, following that, I always played rugby in school, and I only stopped playing 2 years ago, really. So I'd always done bits of boxing, kickboxing, just jot around different gyms, never really stuck at anything. So I was always playing rugby, and I played to quite a decent level, really, in Middlesbrough. And it was actually, I was 16-year-old in our college, had a rugby academy, like on the curriculum. And the head of that was a guy called Oscar Stanton, who I still train with now. And he was mad into Pride. And I was 16 at the time. So this is like 2003. And I can remember going into his office, and there was all these books of freestyle wrestling, Greco-Roman wrestling. And he actually incorporated all this into our fitness sessions. And I'm just a naturally strong kid. And I was really good at it. And then he said, do you want to, not sure he could get away with it now. He said, do you want to stop back behind after college and do some with me? And he'd get a couple of lads in who were dorming in from the town. And then he just went, well, I used to do Thai boxing. So we'll hang a bag, off the PE apparatus, the old ones you'd pull off the wall. And he was like, you'd do rounds where you'd be grappling, then the other person would be kicking the bag. And then we'd just shut the gloves on and have a pack, really. Like I say, you wouldn't get away with it now. I don't. I'm not even sure I should be talking about this, but he's the vice principal now, so I'm sure it'd be fine. But I was just good at it, and then sort of stuck at it with him for a while, and then I got older, and I played rugby on a Saturday and all that, and then I had my daughter, and I'd been going to Middlesbrough Fight Academy a little bit when it just first opened. I think Abdul was still fighting at the time. And there was Abdul, Hassan, Jamie Taylor, and it was just a case. And John Lane, I don't know if you know, John Lane's a bit of a Middlesbrough martial arts legend. And we would just I would do the Saturday morning no-gi, and then Abdul a few times was like, do you want to get another spar and things like that? And it was rough, very rough, man, as you can imagine. But then I stuck more with the jiu-jitsu when I went to the gi, trained a lot in the gi, the no-gi. And then I just wanted a bit of a challenge, and then I think it was the first Combat Challenge Northeast. Anthony Franklin, Nathan Boyce put one on, and I just thought, I'll have some of that, because I trained all the disciplines somewhat, you know what I mean? And I just thought, well, surely I can put it all together. And the main coach behind it, sadly, he's not with us anymore, Martin Ashton. He sadly passed away last year. I trained a lot with him and did bits of wrestling, and I would go to his garage. He had a really like boss garage, similar to what you've got there. We call it the Ninja Academy. And like made some tough guys trained there, and did a lot of one-on-ones with him there. And I actually fought my first MMA fight. I didn't fight out of MFA, I fought out of the Martin Ashton Ninja Academy, which I'm very proud to say so, really. And then following that, because Marty got a job working on the wind farms, as a lot of people have done over the last few years. So I went more into work training at MFA, and it was great. Jiu-jitsu with Jamie Taylor, and obviously the wrestling with Abdul. And the MMA at the time was run by Abdul, but there was a young Harry and a young George Hardwick knocking about, and they were really young. I was talking about this with George the other day, like how long I've actually known them now, and it's quite a long time. But then they've obviously rose to prominence a bit, and now they tend to take the MMA. So I had another fight. Well, I won the first fight under Marty on point. It was a bit of a boring wrestling performance. I fought with a broken hand. Then my second fight, I fought out of MFA, which was great. Really good camp. Really enjoyed that. Fought a kid from, I say a kid, he was older than me, a bloke from Norway, which I won quite quickly. But the training for that was fantastic, and I had a bit of momentum, and I thought, well, let's keep going. So I got matched again for another combat challenge. Guy, maybe he was Romanian, Vasil Kuic or something like that. And I trained, he was very good. It had been a great fight, and I trained really hard. And then for 12 weeks, and he pulled out the night before. And I just thought, what's the point? A young father, I work hard, I sacrificed a lot, and then just to have someone pull out the night before, what's the point? I've wasted my time. I don't get that money back that I've spent on training. And it's the time lost, say, with my daughter and things like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's my journey. A bit long-winded, sorry, but that's how it came about.
No, that's mint, brother. Thank you so much. And I'm going to touch on a couple of names that you mentioned. So one of them was Abdul Muhammad. I mentioned this to you earlier, brother. Right? That dude was like a miniature Randy Couture, right? He's got that sort of look to him, right?
Yeah, the slam man.
And he is from a wrestling background, right?
Yeah, he was Afghan national champion, which is, serious. But he's still got it now. He still wrestles with us all on a Thursday, and he's still like, I love the rounds with Abdul, but it's tough. And he, like, obviously we don't know how old he is, but he's still got it. He's still got it. He'd kill me if I said otherwise anyway.
Because last time I saw him, I think he was on the doors after one at shows. You were there. Yeah,
he's got a pizza shop, a couple of businesses, and yeah, he still does the doors, which I think he enjoys really. I'd love going out. Well, the rare occasions I would and have a crack with him. He's good fun.
You mentioned Jamie Taylor, brother, years ago, right? I watched a video clip that he must have put together of all different transitions from one submission to another. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Have you seen that? That looks silky smooth, didn't it?
He's awesome. And the mad thing is with Jamie, he'll tell you himself if you spoke to him. A lot of him early on was very self-taught. A lot of YouTube instructionals and things like that. And it wasn't for a while till he went under Steve Campbell at Stealth BJJ Manchester, where he almost had someone above him, like to go and see and go and learn off and things like that. But Jamie's great. I don't get to go over the new gym as much as I'd like, really, to be honest. But it's just with the way that obviously it's a lot of gi classes, and just with the fight coming up and things like that, it's doing the bulk of me training at MFA. But once it's gone, I'll try and get over there once a week at least to shot the gi on. So I do enjoy it.
You mentioned a dude called Hassan. That wasn't the Hassan Muradi, was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I didn't know him too well. Training him a couple of times, but he was. He wasn't as welcoming as Abdul was.
Listen, right, that dude, right, back in the days when I was doing a different promotion and I just started it, and I went over to see him, and there was some other guy that was with him from the same area that Hassan was from. I can't remember what the other guy was called. And Hassan Muradi, it looked like, honestly, like I turned up and I was like the bailiffs or some of the way he was speaking to me, like I was going to take his furniture away from him.
Yeah, well, let's be honest, bit of a scary fella, really, wasn't he? But he was good to train with early on. You know, I think training with people like that, it does toughen you up a bit, you know.
Yeah, for sure, man. You mentioned Pride, brother. Back in the days, right, around that time, early 2000, 2001, that was the show. And I don't know if you watched any of the videos, I'm sure you have. And when they have that guy doing the drums on it, and then that woman
Yeah, the
screaming.
lady on
Oh,
yeah, she's
man.
still about, I think. She's still about
Yeah,
somewhere.
it's just unreal. And, you know, having like fighters like Fedor Emelianenko and,
Yeah,
Sakuraba, all those sort of people. And like, Henzo Gracie fought on that, didn't he?
yeah. The crowds were wild as well, in like 70,000 crowds in Japan and things like that. And I think back then, to be honest with you, MMA was a lot cooler because it was a bit more underground, wasn't it? I mean, I can remember going to watch some of the battleground shows at Middlesbrough Town Hall,
Is
and
that
some of my
Cliff Pollard?
pals. Yeah, a lot of the lads. One of my friends who fought on battleground, and he hasn't done anything for 7 years. Lad called Sean Davison. He came over to MFA the other week because he lives in London now and had a train. And he just said it's so different now because back in the day, you said you trained a little bit and then you were trying to fight. But like I say, it was a lot cooler, wasn't it? And obviously, a lot of the coaches now, that Nathan Boyce's, Jamie Taylor, all that, they all fought on that. But I can remember going to watch and they were great.
Back in the days, there weren't that many shows. I remember when I first started competing, it was for under Mick Noakes, Pride and Glory. I think was
Pride
it
and Glory, yeah.
Concert or something? I think was that.
Concert, yeah. There was Strike and Submit. There was all that, wasn't there? Yeah.
And Cliff Pollard, right? I'm sure he was like he studied like Buddhism. He was always, the way he'd speak to me, and he'd kind of like come up with some philosophy and stuff. I'm like, brother Pollard, what are you on about? Let's just.
I never trained there, but I know a lot of the lads that did. And, like, they talked about it, and it does sound a little bit like the Wild West, but it's a lot cooler, isn't it? Just the back, like Franklin.
Listen, right,
Franklin's a bit of an old school fighter.
Right? So when I used to fight on Mick Noakes' show, right, he was the promoter. He'd also be the person erecting and dismantling the ring. So he had his own ring, right? Then he'd be the guy making sure that the fighters were coming in. So he'd announce them. And then he'd be the referee as well. Right? And in between, on the intervals, he'd be doing some sort of like karate demonstrations and exhibitions. And he used to do it all, and it was so cool. And I remember the first time I fought on Pete McQueen's show, Total Combat.
Yeah,
that was unreal. I couldn't believe how nice it was. The venue compared to other places that I'd fought previously. You just wanted to compete wherever. It wasn't for the money; it was just to go and compete.
I can remember seeing some of the names that competed on Total Combat, and then like your Ross Pearsons and all that. I think competed on there. And it went to shit, really, didn't it? Towards the end, they were just letting any old person jump on.
Pete McQueen, because he was up there, and then what happened was people started making the way up, but he kind of continued with the same formula, and it kind of then became where other people were adding a little bit more to it. And offering a bit more and changing it up and refining it. And that's, if I was to kind of guess, that's what happened with Mr. McQueen.
Yeah, but like you say, he's up there, and that's what Franklin's done, I think, in my opinion. And I mean, I know vaguely some of the stuff he's got lined up for Sunday, but I think he's going to make a bit of a statement on Sunday. So, but it's only good. Everyone else will up their game then, won't they? All the other shows, because there's Almighty, there's a few others, so competition's good. But I've
been speaking to Franklin, behind the scenes, just chatting, and the stuff that he's put together, the amount of work he's put in. I would say he is one of the hardest working promoters because he's fully on it, and obviously he's got his full-time job. And the stuff that he's got lined up, and if it all comes to fruition, it's going to be unbelievable, right?
Well, he does everything Freak does, he does the best, doesn't he? So if it's an MMA show or if it's being a miserable bastard, he's the best at that. I do get on really well with him. I've got loads of time for him, but the majority of times I speak to him, I think I've seen him smile about 3 times. But hopefully at the end of the night on Sunday, we can have a beer and a bit of a crack, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And just remind us again, where is it that you're competing on Sunday?
Rayton Arena.
And that used to be where Total Combat used to be, right?
Yeah, I think you used to call Rayton Meadows Arena, but they've changed the name. He's told us all to put Rayton Arena on posts and things. So I was there the other week for a pro boxing show. It's a great venue. Really good.
Do they not do like national darts that are on TV that takes place there?
I'm not too sure. I mean, my girlfriend showed me someone was having a children's birthday party there yesterday, but I think they'll, given what's gone on in the last 18 months, I think they'll just hold anything that'll make them a bit of money, you know. It's massive though. It's absolutely massive. It's great.
The venue's beautiful because obviously you've got the floor, but then you've got the balcony all the way around, which is, you know, the bird's eye view that you get. The only thing, and I hope they've changed it if they can do, is for the fighters, the warm-up areas were tight, brother.
Well, you know, one of my pals, I actually do pads for him. He's a pro boxer. He fought on the show the other Friday, and he had a marquee out the back. Now, it's not ideal, is it? But we'll see. We'll see what happens on Sunday. You'll be all right. It's not like you know, your warm up, isn't it? I don't like too much of a warm up anyway, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, listen, brother, talking about this Sunday, Liam Cook, how did that fight come about, and what did you know about Liam, and what made you say, yes, I want to take this fight?
Well, I'd been really busy with my career, and then circumstances changed. I had a bit more time, so I'd gone back, looked to throw myself back into training because I thought, you know, I really enjoyed it, and I want, you know, and at the time I was talking to Martin Ashton a lot, and he said, you know, it's a bit stupid if you don't, because I thought I was done given what happened last time, and you know, I did look up to him a lot, and he said, it's a bit stupid if you don't fight again. And I was like, oh, I'm a bit old, and he was like, you're not, you know, you've looked after yourself. It's not like I had never stopped training. I was always doing something. You know, I always training boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, always doing bits. And he said, you'll really regret it if you don't go back. So I just went back to MFA. This is just before the pandemic. And I said to Harry, look, can I fight? So I got matched originally with Liam. So training had gone really well, brought me weight down. And then obviously the pandemic hit. See, naively, I thought it was going to last 3 weeks. I don't know why. I think maybe that's what we were all told to start with. So I hung about the fight weight for a while, going out for runs, hitting the bag and things like that, because I had access to a gym. And obviously it went away like everyone. So I looked to put some more weight on and then just tick over, work on some skills. And then, like I say, things started opening up again. Freak got in touch saying it's going to happen. He wanted to rematch with Liam again. So I said, yeah, let's do it. No problem.
And what do you know about Liam, my brother?
Not a lot, really. Harry, I'll leave all that to Harry Hardwick. Although he's young, he's probably my main MMA coach. Him and George, they watch it. The weird down there, them two. I know they've been on here. You know, Harry calls them the weird. Abdul, calls them the weirdos. They weren't any other week, and he went, "Where are weirdos?" You know, and just let them take care of it. They say do this, do that. I think he's a bit unpredictable. I think, you know, and I think he likes to think he's a bit of a grappler. So see what happens, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, man. So you're training at MFA. Obviously, you've mentioned Jamie and Abdul and the Hardwick brothers. Is there anyone specific that's kind of helping you there, or are they all kind of throwing themselves into to guide you along?
Well, George and Harry take the sessions, and then Abdul sort of hovers about, almost like it's like, you know, you'd have your technical director at a football club. And obviously, he was a world-class fighter, wasn't he? So if he see things you might benefit from, he'll come over. He calls me a ginger bastard, and then he'll drop some absolute knowledge bomb, which will help tighten up a technique. He just takes the wrestling. He just fully takes the wrestling sessions. Then I'll do a session with Harry on my own once a week, which is great. And then we have our Saturday morning like fight team stuff. But I also do. I've worked a lot on my K1 striking with a coach in Billingham where I live, called Ron Gray, he's actually 73, 74. But he's coached for over 50 years. I think he's 6th dan in kickboxing. He's been great, and he's really helped me loads. He's put a lot of time in with me, and you know, he's absolutely spot on. And obviously he comes from a traditional martial arts background, so that you got your Harry and George, you've got your Abdul, and then Ron's been absolutely spot on, and he's really like brought everything on. I can't thank him enough, really. He's been absolutely spot on.
For sure, brother. And you mentioned the age of that chap, but just think about the knowledge and wealth of experience that he's got. And like, you know, like for example, the coach for Mike Tyson, you know, Customato, you know, he might not be able to spar with Tyson, but he could tweak things just like what Abdul does and the other chap does for you, right?
Yeah, Ron's spot on. Although he's still got you on the pads as well, which is mad, isn't it? In the kick shield, and I think he started off in karate, and he sacked the karate off because. Did you see what happened in the Olympics the other week? Someone got disqualified for kicking someone too hard or something like that. He said he saw that coming a long time ago. So he switched to kickboxing and he spent time in Ireland learning that. So it was the full contact kickboxing. So it's obviously all above waist. And then he's developed that again for the K1. So you've got to give him credit, really, because he's took bits from here, there, but he's tailored it around me. It's
well,
not
the
just
thing
generic.
For him is, that what gives him that longevity, because he's continued to evolve and tweak, right?
Yeah, and he asked me questions, and I think he might have done a little bit with Harry, with Abdul and Hassan back in the. Oh shit! Sorry, are we all right?
Yeah, we're all good, brother.
Sorry about that. Yeah, he's just an absolute he's spot on with his knowledge, but he's not ignorant of Harry and George and Abdul. He says he knows, he said to me tonight, he went, well, they're running the show and all that, you know what I mean? I'm just here for what I've went to him for, and he's been spot on.
Well, that's good, is that just shows how humble he is, and he's not worried about other people, you know, giving you advice as well. Now, your fight with Lim Brother, if it all goes according to plan, how would you like it to end?
Well, you want to be as quickly as possible, really, but we'll see what happens. Whatever presents itself, you know, I'll look to jump on that, really. Anyway, just ready for whatever. The preparation's been spot on, so you know, I'm not going to shit talk him, because from what I gather, he's a young lad, he's a father and all that. But again, you know, he's coming to fight me in front of, you know, I'm taking a big crowd. I'm not going to let someone come mug me off in front of all my friends and family, am I? And my dad's there watching as well, so I'd never live it down. Yeah,
for sure. And to be fair, everyone that I've had on the podcast for this show this Sunday on the Olympus Fighting Championship, everyone has been respectful to the opponent, you know, and, you know, they said, look, I'm going there to fight, and whatever happens, I'll just go into autopilot, but I don't have anything bad to say about my opponent, which is great, right? Which is how it should be.
Yeah, I think at this level as well, at the end of the day, it's not a tickling contest, is it? And everyone knows they've got to get in, we've got to bust each other up. But I mean, that's good. I mean, I cringe at times when I see people needlessly talking shit. If someone was to talk shit at me, I'd give it back. That's just the way I am. But I think, you know, just worry about yourself, isn't it? And what you're going to do, and we'll take over. I think everyone, I mean, the card from top to bottom is absolutely spot on, isn't it? And I think all the lads are spot on, really, especially the ones around here who are fighting. And the quality of the fight speaks for themselves. So we don't need to call each other worse than shit, do we?
No. I mean, the thing is, look, the fight don't need to be sold in any other way. Just the fight card, like you said, speaks for itself. And there's
even on the under
fights or something.
Yeah, even on the early prelims, one of my teammates, I give a shout out to Cannonball Paul, making his debut. Unbelievable. He's the same age as me. He's just been training for years, but he's trained like a professional, and he's a great teammate. All the lads love him. He lifts everyone's spirits in the gym, sometimes unintentionally. Don't get me wrong, but even the standard of the early prelims is unbelievable from top to bottom. And I was talking to someone today about it, because some people grumble, don't they? They go 35 or 45 quid, 50 for cage side tickets, and I'm like, you don't understand the fucking quality of this show. I would be watching it, and I think really you should have been charged. You could probably charge more for the pay-per-view. A tenner to watch it. It's absolutely insane.
Listen, brother, I've been speaking with Franklin, and I'm aware of how much money he's investing in this show. people have no idea, right? You know, I don't even think there's many tickets left, but if there was any tickets, they need to go. And if they don't get a ticket and they can't get a ticket, they need to watch that pay-per-view, because I ain't giving it away, right? But it's just going to be unreal, and it's well worth that tenner on pay-per-view, right?
I mean, I've sold a lot of tickets for the night. I've sold 80 tickets, I think, for the night. And there's another 30 people who I know will be watching at home, like work, kids, things like that. One of my best pals, he's on a RAF base in Cyprus. He's tuning in for a tenner for 24 fights. You got to be a fucking arsehole to whinge at that, haven't you? Like, let's be honest. Especially, you could charge 20 quid just for the pro, like the main card. I want, you know, because I mean, I think I'm first fighting the main card, but then, you know, I won't say they get better in quality, but you know, they are a very, very high standard. I think the main event could be a main event on Cage Warriors. Mick Parkin's fighting every.
Good ones, isn't it, brother?
Perry's a good lad. Perry's been at MFA quite a bit while I've been there. Perry's fighting in the main event. That could be a Cage Warriors main event. You've got Mick Parkin. That could, you know, everyone likes the heavyweights. I really like watching Mick fight.
But the thing
you've got the guy from
he's a heavyweight, brother, but he moves fast, right?
Yeah, I've seen him fight not the MMA shows, just a lot of the Contender K1 shows, and throwing jumping wheel kicks and things like that. And he's a lot bigger in person than he looks on the photos as well. But you've got the guy from Pete Irvin's gym, Mike El Jaguar. Everyone's really, really high on him. Gonna go all the way. So you've got to watch it, haven't you? Part with your tenner. Don't be a tight fucker. Part with your tenner and tune in.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Now, brother, you mentioned the MFA crew. Is there anyone else that you want to give a shout out that have either helped or contributed in any way towards your preparation for this fight?
Just again, all the coaches that I've worked with previously. I mean, you know, like I said, I don't get over to Jamie's gym a lot, but I still use things that I've learned from him. Obviously, Martin Ashton, sadly no longer with us, but again, just my mindset and things like that. A lot of that I get from him. Coaches I've mentioned, Harry, George, and Abdul. All my teammates, because the great lads. Ron, I know it's easy to say she'll kill me, but I'll have to thank my girlfriend, because she never whinges at me being out late, training. I come in, she knows what I need to eat. I came in tonight, my tea was ready to the gram, exactly what I need. That's what I never had that before, and that's what's going to make a big, big, big difference this time. But I'd also just like to thank a couple of sponsors, if that's all right with you. Just Potter Chauffeurs, the Pest Technicians in Billingham, Billingham Removals, Charlie Daniels Dentistry. He's one of my best pals. He's been spot on. Moto XP Pro and Close Protection Security, because although I'm an amateur, they have helped me with. They have given me some money. I didn't ask. They just come forward, gave me that, and training isn't free, is it?
Brother, it all helps, in it, and it's in this day and age to have sponsors coming on board and contributing at this level. It makes a big difference, doesn't it, brother?
But they're all great lads, and they're the best at what they do. And you know, I wouldn't give them a shout out if I wouldn't use them myself. But I can't thank them enough. They've been absolutely great.
Sure. Well, listen, Tom, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to be there on Sunday. I'm going to be announcing you coming into the cage, and I wish
you announced me last time, didn't you? I just clocked on
there. The Northeast Combat Challenge one.
Yeah,
I
you
think,
did.
Was that like 2015 or 16 or something?
16, I think, at the Borough Hall in Hartlepool. Yeah, so just you shout that name.
Brother, I've been in the game a while, you know what I mean?
You're good, man. You're good. You're good at what you do.
Thank you.
Well, I look forward to that.
Well, good luck, my brother, and I'll catch up with you on Sunday. And then when the fight finishes and the following day, are we all right to just have a post-fight quick podcast, regardless of the result, just to kind of talk about how the fight went? Are you okay with that, my friend?
Yeah, man, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be good.
Tom, thank you so much, and I'll catch up with you on Sunday, my friend. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, buddy.